Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the studios as we get set for our first ever Let's Talk AAU WorldTour podcast. Unfortunately, the three new panelists cannot do their business today. As you hear, it's Kate Remy, Eddie Turner to my right, but however, on my left is one of the newest voices coming to AAU World Tour Radio for Let's Talk AAU World Tour, Christine Leahy, who will be not only joining us in the studios, but also down on the court tonight when the huge game of the month takes effect.
Well, as you two right here, like, it's just an emotional time right now. Like, I get to actually be face to face with great basketball players as Ja'Cory Weathers or as Chance Miller or Chris Johnson, Manny Reeves or anyone. Like, this is a huge opportunity for me, and I am super glad. I'm super glad that I was picked to actually experience this firsthand. And I can't wait until the Dayton Wolves beat PNW tonight in the Verizon Center.
Very, very bold words for a newcomer. As you know, PNW has beaten the Dayton Wolves twice already in one season. Pretty much a ditto of the Dayton Wolves versus the Lake Erie meet. Dayton Wolves met Lake Erie Mother's Day 2016. The Dayton Wolves lost. Ballin' for Bree. The next time in November, the Dayton Wolves met Lake Erie in Las Vegas, Nevada for the second game, but it was even more than Mother's Day 2016. This is the national championship game. The Dayton Wolves lost it yet again. Dayton Wolves trailed 0-2 against the PNW basketball club. Not PNW basketball club, but the Lake Erie Monsters last season. And I feel like Ja'Cory and the Pacific Northwest is taking the place of the Lake Erie Monsters, the returning national champions, because the Dayton Wolves has knocked off Cameron Caden of the Lake Erie Monsters. The Dayton Wolves, C. Miller, has not stood a contest to Ja'Cory Weathers or the Pacific Northwest Basketball Club. And tonight, starting at 10:30 tip-off time, then I really think that PNW will go away with another victory. I mean, it's just inevitable. And if they continue to put Miller on Ja'Cory is going to continue to shine over the Dayton Wolves star player C. Miller. That is the reason why the Dayton Wolves continue to lose and take losses against this Pacific Northwest basketball team. The Dayton Wolves has to change their defensive strategies because man-to-man coverage and 2-3 coverage is not working against a 6'7" point guard. Miller's 5'10", Ja'Cory's 6'7". Regardless of what play you call, Miller is unable to guard a 6'7" point guard. But the Dayton Wolves head coach Tim Burris continues to put this matchup on the floor. That is why you continue to see the Dayton Wolves trailing and losing these meets against this Pacific Northwest basketball team.
And I'm sorry, Eddie, but I have to disagree with you right there. Just because Miller is on Ja'Cory, yeah, the matchup is mismatched. However, we've seen the Dayton Wolves drop down by 20 in the first half, first two quarters, first quarter, second quarter. We've seen the Dayton Wolves drop down by 20. After the first half, the second quarter, Dayton Wolves somehow, some way pull together, come back up. We've seen it in the last meet in Dayton, Ohio, where PNW was up 20 at one point in the game. The Dayton Wolves fought back, battled all the way back to tie the game, and pretty much go down by by two at the end of the third quarter. The only reason why the Dayton Wolves lost that game was because Keith Brown shot a shot that he should have never shot. He should have just went ahead and passed it out and let Miller do his justice. However, that mistakes made, mistakes learned from. And tonight, the third game, the Dayton Wolves will prevail against the Pacific Northwest basketball team just because I think Miller knows what he needs to do to try and stop Ja'Cory Weathers, although Ja'Cory Weathers is towering over Miller, as Eddie would say. However, I'm sure that Coach Barris and the Dayton Wolves has made their adjustments to come away with this victory tonight, and it would be a huge win tonight in the Verizon Center if the Dayton Wolves so happen to pull this out.
And there's also a lot of games taking off tonight. Today, throughout the day, live on AAU World Tour in the World Tour League. Twin City Boys, who are now 10-4, taking on Utah Thunder, who are 6-9. Of course, the Dayton Wolves, the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves, who is now 9-3, taking on the number 8 seeded Pacific Northwest, who are 6-5 in the Southwestern Division, or the Southwestern Conference. And that will be tonight's game of the month, starting at 10:30 tip-off time. But you can join us right here live on AAU World Tour Radio, starting at 10 o'clock for every inside drive statistic that you need. You also have Park City Stingers taking on the New York Metro Jayhawks. Park City 7-7 of the season so far. New York 7-5 should be a great game. Team Concept, who is 9-2, taking on the Chicago Lockdown, who is 9-4. You have a team from Atlanta who struggling so far, 4-8, taking on the Memphis Kings, who is now 6-6. Dizzy Memphis and everyone on the Memphis Kings looking to try and get back in the win column for this week to start off the month. You have Team Renaissance, who is struggling, very much struggling, worse than the Atlanta team, who is 2-10. 2-10 is their record coming into this week of AAU World Tour action, taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads, who is 5-8. And a lot more games, but Double Pump playing today. Mainline Jaguars playing, team from Milwaukee. The Mainline Jaguars 7-5. Double Pump from Los Angeles, California, 6-7. You have the Greenwood Elite, who is on a run so far, taking on the team from Phoenix, Arizona. Greenwood Elite 7-5. The team from Phoenix, Arizona 4-8. Texas Select versus a Dallas, Texas team, so that is a cross rival. Texas Select 7-6. The team from Dallas 5-7. And that's pretty much all the good games happening tonight. Carolina Thunder going up tonight. They're 6-8 after their loss against the Dayton Wolves. And we want to congratulate Ashley Davis from the Lake Erie Monsters for being named Player of the Week in the Southwestern Conference. And you have Antoine Jefferson from the New Orleans team, who's taking on the Carolina Thunder tonight. They are 3-8. The New Orleans team, Antoine Jefferson has been named Player of the Month, or Player of the Week, for the Southeastern Conference. Keynotes, ladies and gentlemen. Toronto Terror still, ladies and gentlemen, on an 8-game winning streak. They're doing fantastic job so far, leading the AAU World Tour League so far in the standing division. Lake Erie Monsters, Eddie, on a 5-game winning streak after they started off rough. Once they lost to the Dayton Wolves, everything went downhill for the Lake Erie Monsters. But they have found themselves on a 5-game winning streak. Double Pump, also from Los Angeles, California, who is taking on a team from Denver. Double Pump is 6-7. They are now on a 5-game winning streak. And of course, you have the Dayton Wolves, who is locked in at number 3 with a 9-3 record. They are now on a 3-game winning streak, and they look to make it 4 tonight against the team that stopped their winning streak last time. A 5-game winning streak the Dayton Wolves was on before. Pacific Northwest was the first team ever to head into the jungle and defeat the Dayton Wolves at home.
Well, all right, Kate, ladies and gentlemen, our injuries for tonight's game of the month. Pacific Northwest number 13 will be out for the duration of 1 to 2 weeks with broken ribs. He is out for tonight's game, and he'll probably be out for the next 2 weeks or more. But Kate is number 13, a huge is a huge loss for PNW, or can Pacific Northwest do what they need to do to go up 3 games in tonight's game of the month?
Well, it all depends, Eddie. And tonight, although number 13 hasn't had his number called so far in these last 2 meets against the Dayton Wolves and PNW, I believe that he is a valuable player to the Pacific Northwest team. Although, he's unable to play tonight However, I think PNW has more talent on their team than number 13. For him to, skip his training sessions, his rehab on everything that he's going through right now with his ribs, and just step on the court. Now you can step on the court and bypass your rib injury, and I promise you that tonight's game will be a physical game, especially down low between CJ, DW, and everyone on the PNW club that's down low. But number 13, as far as I'm concerned, is not a huge loss for PNW, but it may do a little justice. It may have a little advantage for the Dayton Wolves coming into tonight's game of the month. But ladies and gentlemen, that will be doing it. That does it for us. We're gonna take a short break, but when we return, we are back in the studio with no one other than PNW's 6'7" point guard. Yes, you heard it here, folks. We are 1-on-1. We're 2-on-1 with Jacory Weathers right here live in the AAU World Tour studio. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Let's Talk AAU World Tour, and we will be right back in just a few moments.
Right now, you can book a Carnival cruise to the Caribbean sailing from 5 Florida ports. That's close by. Of course, we're not the only local destination. You hear about them all the time on the radio, like this one.
Come see the world's tallest chair. Take your family to a magical place. It's a super big chair off of Route 88. Get a picture of the chair. Now we know that you're sold. But don't sit in the chair, cause it's really old. Come see the world's tallest chair.
Yeah, better stick to a Carnival cruise. Save up to 20% on a Carnival cruise sailing from 5 Florida ports starting at just $279. Get all the Caribbean beaches, delicious dining, spacious accommodations, and entertainment you want a lot closer than you thought. Contact your travel professional or visit carnival.com. Carnival, fun for all for fun. Cruises are in U.S. dollars per person, double occupancy. Taxes, fees, and port expenses, additional restrictions apply. Full details on carnival.com. Ships registry, the Bahamas, Panama, and Malta.
It's video time, kids.
Do you know how fast you were going, son?
Call me Ed.
Do you know how fast you were going, Ed?
You mean exactly?
Yes, exactly.
No, not exactly. How fast?
Fast.
Faster?
You were going very fast.
Fast is my job, officer.
Fast is your job?
Yes, sir.
What kind of job?
I deliver, sir.
What do you deliver?
The world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
I thought Jimmy John's had the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
Jimmy John's does have the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
So you deliver for Jimmy John's?
I deliver for Jimmy John's.
So do you always deliver fast?
I always deliver fast.
How fast?
I deliver subs so fast you freak.
It's not smart to freak a cop, son.
You didn't order Jimmy John's sub, sir.
So if I did order a Jimmy John's sub, when would I get it?
Now.
What if I don't want it now?
Then call later.
Or I could pick it up myself.
Or you can pick it up yourself.
Because I'm pretty fast, too.
I'm sure you are, sir.
Very fast.
I believe you, sir.
Faster than you.
No way, sir.
Way faster.
In your dreams.
You dissing me, son?
No, sir, I'm polite.
Fast and polite?
Very polite and very, very fast.
Is that a challenge, son?
No, sir, it's a fact.
Let's burn rubber, kid.
It wouldn't be fair.
Why not?
You've got a fully blown V8 Camaro with slicks and headers.
So?
I've got a 10-speed bike.
I'll let you off with a warning.
This is the sound of a nation becoming. Messy and miraculous.
I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. I've got to be.
This is the story of America then, told by America now.
We dream of a brand new start, but we dream in the dark for the most part. Dark as a tomb where it happens. I've got to be in the room where it happens. I've got to know where it happens. I've got to know.
This is for all of us. Hamilton, an American musical on Broadway. Be there when it happens.
Click, boom.
Welcome back to the studios, ladies and gentlemen, and what a surprise we have for you right now at the moment. Kate Remy, Eddie Turner from Inside Drive, sitting alongside no one other than the 6'7" point guard himself, who has, as he says, quote unquote, shut down Sea Rizzle Rain by himself. No one other than Jacory Weathers. How you doing today, Jacory?
Oh, I'm great, Kate. Thanks for asking. Hello, world. See, Reza, if you listening, as I see the Dayton Wolves down there practicing, getting as much needed practice in as they need to, because they know they are not stopping us tonight. So, I mean, it's just a waste of time for the Dayton Wolves to actually try and practice. I really don't want the Dayton Wolves or Chance Miller to be practicing in the Verizon Center right now, because this is our city. Chocolate City. We are in the most spectacular state of all, Washington, D.C., and we're about to smash some more Dayton Wolves heads, some more Dayton Wolves, specifically Chance, tonight. So, if y'all in the vicinity, y'all need to go ahead and tune in, come to the game or whatever, because I'm about to shut Miller down again.
Well, Jacory, and I agree with you, because 2 games, 2 losses for the Dayton Wolves and C. Miller. No matter what the Dayton Wolves has tried to do, no matter what C. Miller has tried to do, C. Miller cannot guard you. Now, everyone is talking about C. Miller leading the league in assists, leading the league in points. Dayton Wolves are 9-3, number 3 in the power rankings. You guys are number 8. Although you guys defeated the Dayton Wolves 2 games in a row, why do you feel that your team is not in the top 5? Like, the Dayton Wolves has 3 games of the season they lost to. They beat the Memphis Kings twice already. After going down 1 game, they beat them in the jungle, and they beat them, I believe, back in Memphis. But you guys beat the Dayton Wolves twice. The Dayton Wolves is the only team that hasn't beat you guys or seeked revenge on you guys after beating them twice in a row. Dayton Wolves beat the Lake Erie Monsters. Cameron Caton and C. Miller was the focus of the game, the highlight of the game. Everyone was watching, was excited for that matchup. But now PNW and the Dayton Wolves, do you feel that C. Miller is an overrated basketball player as he continues to struggle against you night in and night out when you guys meet, no matter if it's in the Dayton Wolves Arena, UD Arena, or in the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C.?
I really do not think that C. Miller is an overrated basketball player, just for the simple fact because he does lead the league in points per game, 24 points per game. He does lead the league in assists per game with 9 assists per game. He's almost averaging a double-double. Miller is a fantastic basketball player, and believe it or not, I do sometimes have trouble guarding Miller on the court just because he is so fast. He's lightning fast, and you could be in front of Miller at one point of given time, and next minute you turn to look, see if somebody's behind you, like Chris might be behind you setting a play, and the next thing you know, you turn to look at Chris and you turn back to face Miller and the ball, and Miller's gone. He's out of here, So, I really do not think Miller is an overrated basketball player, but some of the fans of Chocolate City do think that he is an overrated basketball player just for the simple fact he is 3 times to the national championship, 3 losses for the Dayton Wolves, If you have a star player on your team, just as C. Miller, who is an expert at finding his teammates, putting points on the board, shooting them 3-pointers, bringing the storm. Miller is a dynamic basketball player, and I do feel that I have the advantage. I am the best player in the league just because I have stopped Miller on different occasions. Regardless of my size against Miller, Miller knew what he would be up against, especially by the second game in the jungle. And for the Dayton Wolves and C. Miller to actually continue their defensive strategies as far as man-to-man coverage and 2-3 zone, and Miller checking me, then it was a lose-lose situation from there. I'm not saying that the Dayton Wolves are in any type of form to just say that they cannot beat us, because you never know. This is a competitive league, week in, week out. Teams dropping like flies, but we have to just keep focused and We just have to help one another, especially if Miller tries to attack inside. I know he's a 92% free throw shooter. I know he's a dynamic scorer, as well as the rest of the team. But like Cameron Caden said, you know, you shut Miller down, you shut the Dayton Wolves down, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been. That's been my goal for the times we've met. And since I shut Miller down, you know, he averages 24 points a game. Against Memphis and Dizzy, he's dropped 37 in the first game, 33 in the second game, or 31 in the second game. Miller's averaging at least 31 points in the last 5 games right now. And every time he steps on the court against me and my team, Miller's been held to 15 points. You know, he's a dynamic passer. He's been getting at least over 10 assists each meet against us, but I'm focused on his scoring. 31-point games for Miller is a hell of a lot for him. For a 5'10" point guard, that's a hell of a lot of numbers for a 5'10" point guard. And for any team that goes up against the Dayton Wolves, they should know that C. Miller is the key to the Dayton Wolves. You lock him down, you shut the Dayton Wolves down. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 games. And that's what you've been seeing. Pacific Northwest, my team, Chocolate City, coming out on top.
And Ja'Cory, you talked about your team was the first ever team this 2017 season. We're in week 12, I believe. No, week 13, week 14. And your team was the first ever team to defeat the Dayton Wolves in the jungle. One of the hardest places, one of the toughest places to play this season. How do you feel knowing that you was able to lead your team to what most teams have failed to do so far, and that is take a victory in the jungle?
It felt great. I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me. It felt great. You know, leading up to that game, all our coach talked about was how tough it was to play in the jungle, how tough it will be to try and beat the Dayton Wolves in the jungle. And he even said he believes that this game will go into overtime, and that's the quarter that he felt like we would lose it. Now, you go into overtime against the Dayton Wolves in their house, that is a guaranteed loss. So we had to prevail and try to prevent this game from going into overtime. So regardless of how many shots that I thought I could hit, because, you know, it's easy for me to pull up on Miller at any given time. Miller is 5'10", as you said, Eddie, 5'10", I'm 6'7". I could just pull up on Miller anytime, no problem. But I wanted to get my team more involved, you know. I don't want to be like Miller and average 25 points a game or average 31 points a game against us. I want to get my team more involved, so that's exactly what I tried to do. Now, I took my shots. If we needed them, I took our shots, and I connected on most of them. But for us to win it in the jungle and still be the first team to actually beat the Dayton Wolves in the jungle, that sets a lot of momentum for us going into games, you know. Especially on the road. We was the first ever team to defeat the Dayton Wolves on the road, and we're still the number 1 team to beat the Dayton Wolves on the road. And I really do not see any team actually beating the Dayton Wolves at home besides us. Cameron Caden, the Lakers Monsters, they have a chance to repeat what we did, but I feel like Cameron Caden and the Lakers Monsters just cannot do it. Although Ashley Davis is leading, was named Player of the Week, and they're on a winning streak, a 5-game winning streak, I just do not see it. Cameron Caden and C. Miller is a hell of a match. They match up perfect as far as heights and skill level, speed, strength, play vision, you know, but, you know, when it just comes to me, I just think C. Miller does not have it. And we faced the Dayton Wolves one more time, and that's going to be in the jungle. And we're going to try to beat them twice in one season. Well, we already beat them twice in one season, but beat them twice in a row at home at their house. So it would be a fantastic game, just like tonight. You never know what's going to happen. We have huge celebrities coming to this game tonight just to watch me, dog Miller out one more time. But it's going to be a great game. Our next game in Dayton, Ohio. So, but we have to get past this game right here. Dayton Wolves is down 2 games to us, and I do not plan on letting the Dayton Wolves walk out of Chocolate City with a victory tonight. And if I have to get physical with Miller down low, or if I got to attack the Dayton Wolves down low, if I got to, lock up my pressure on C. Miller, then that's what it is tonight. Tonight, we're walking out of here with a victory, and we will be up 3-0 against the Dayton Wolves. They will have no chance of tying this series, and we have to wait until the WorldTour Nationals. No, we're going to take care of business tonight, and we're ready. So I hope C. Miller's ready and the Dayton Wolves are ready, because they're not walking out of here with a victory.
All right, thank you, Jacory. Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for our interview 101 with Jacory Weathers, the point guard who has, quote-unquote, shut Miller down for 2 games. Pacific Northwest on top of the Dayton Wolves 2-0 of this series so far out of 4 games. Dayton Wolves taking on Pacific Northwest tonight, starting at 10:30 p.m. right here live on AAU World Tour Radio, as well as the next game taking place in Dayton, Ohio in the next few months. But we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen, because when we return, we are here with no one other than RZA Rain himself, Chance Miller of the Dayton Wolves, sits 1-on-1 in the hot seat, 2-on-1 in the hot seat, with myself, Kate Remy, and Eddie Turner to my right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back live on AAU World Tour Radio for the conclusion of Let's Talk AAU World Tour.
Right now, you can book a Carnival cruise to the Caribbean sailing from 5 Florida ports. That's close by. Of course, we're not the only local destination. You hear about them all the time on the radio, like this one.
Come see the world's tallest chair. Take your family to a magical place. It's a super big chair off of Route 88. Get a picture of the chair. Now we know that you're sold. But don't sit in the chair, cause it's really old. Come see the world's tallest chair.
Yeah, better stick to a Carnival cruise. Save up to 20% on a Carnival cruise sailing from 5 Florida ports starting at just $279. Get all the Caribbean beaches, delicious dining, spacious accommodations, and entertainment you want a lot closer than you thought. Contact your travel professional or visit carnival.com. Carnival, fun for all for fun. Cruises are in U.S. dollars per person, double occupancy. Taxes, fees, and port expenses, additional restrictions apply. Full details on carnival.com. Ships registry, the Bahamas, Panama, and Malta.
It's video time, kids.
Do you know how fast you were going, son?
Call me Ed.
Do you know how fast you were going, Ed?
You mean exactly?
Yes, exactly.
No, not exactly. How fast?
Fast.
Faster?
You were going very fast.
Fast is my job, officer.
Fast is your job?
Yes, sir.
What kind of job?
I deliver, sir.
What do you deliver?
The world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
I thought Jimmy John's had the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
Jimmy John's does have the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
So you deliver for Jimmy John's?
I deliver for Jimmy John's.
So do you always deliver fast?
I always deliver fast.
How fast?
I deliver subs so fast you freak.
It's not smart to freak a cop, son.
You didn't order Jimmy John's sub, sir.
So if I did order a Jimmy John's sub, when would I get it?
Now.
What if I don't want it now?
Then call later.
Or I could pick it up myself.
Or you can pick it up yourself.
Because I'm pretty fast, too.
I'm sure you are, sir.
Very fast.
I believe you, sir.
Faster than you.
No way, sir.
Way faster.
In your dreams.
You dissing me, son?
No, sir, I'm polite.
Fast and polite?
Very polite and very, very fast.
Is that a challenge, son?
No, sir, it's a fact.
Let's burn rubber, kid.
It wouldn't be fair.
Why not?
You've got a fully blown V8 Camaro with slicks and headers.
So?
I've got a 10-speed bike.
I'll let you off with a warning.
This is the sound of a nation becoming. Messy and miraculous.
I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. I wanna be, I've got to be.
This is the story of America then, told by America now.
We dream of a brand new start, but we dream in the dark for the most part. Dark as a tomb where it happens. I've got to be in the room where it happens.
This is for all of us. Hamilton, an American musical on Broadway. Be there when it happens.
Click, boom.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the studios. Let's Talk AAU World Tour continues as we just got finished talking to Jacory Weathers, but now we're 1-on-3 with no one other than RZA Rain himself. For all those who don't know, this is Chance Miller, number 8, the Dayton Wolves point guard, starting point guard, sitting with us right now. How you doing today, C. Miller?
Man, I'm great. Thanks for having me, but I mean, they better know who I am. Shit, I'm C. RZA goddamn Rain.
I mean, what you do?
I bring the thunder, I bring the rain, I bring the hurricane, I bring the volcano, I bring the tornado, I bring every fucking thing.
C. RZA Rain. But on a more serious note, Chance, this is the third game you guys are coming into Chocolate City, the Verizon Center, starting tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for those who are tuning in right here live on AAU World Tour Radio. The Dayton Wolves, number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves, as we sit with Chance Miller, the star player, number 8, the starting point guard, versus Jacory Weathers and the number 8 Pacific Northwest. Chance, we seen on Facebook that you said that you was going to bring your Ballin' for Bree effect, your hashtag Ballin' for Bree effect into tonight's game. How big is this game? I mean, this game has to be that big to you that you have to bring out the Ballin' for Bree effect. I mean, last season we seen you and the Dayton Wolves go down 2 games. I mean, it all started on Mother's Day 2016 against the Lake Erie Monsters. We seen you guys lose that night, that Sunday night, as well as the night of November in the national championship game. You guys are 1-0 for the Ballin' for Bree effect, where you are 1-0 for the Ballin' for Bree effect this season against the Lake Erie Monsters, 76-78. You guys beat them, and you had the game-winning bucket at the free throw line. How big of a game is this that you have to bring this huge Ballin' for Bree effect into this game tonight?
I mean, well, it's not that big of a game. It's just, you know, we need that extra bump to get over that hump that we've always encountered against Pacific Northwest. There's nothing that in this game that has me wondering or guessing or maybe nervous. The fact that I have to bring out the Ballin' for Bree effect. I just brought the Ballin' for Bree effect out because I need Bree's help on this one, you know. 2 games against PNW, 2 games we've lost, you know, and it's been mostly due to the fact that Jacory is always, you know, having his way, you know. I mean, I'm sure Eddie's mentioned it plenty of times before, but he's 6'7", and I'm 5'10", you know. If anybody that plays basketball besides in the NBA or in this league, anybody in this league who says that is my size and says that they can guard Jacory, well, that's an understatement. Because I've stepped on the court with Jacory, guarding Jacory twice, and his reach over me, it just does the damage. It takes a toll on the team, and when I'm trying to do my thing, it's just he's always there. I don't care if I'm at the free throw line and he's on the right side of the 3-point line in the corner. You know, he just finds his way over to me. You know, whether I'm attacking inside or anything, but. It's not that big of a game to me. I mean, it is a big of a game just because there's going to be some big names and that's tuning into this game tonight. But as far as me bringing the ball of free effect, I just brought it in just because I need that extra push, we need that extra push, that extra drive, that extra strength at the end of games when we're down by 2 or just coming back from a 20-point lead. But and Bree's the one that can possibly do that for us. So that's why I brought it out.
Real quick, Reza, a lot of fans in the league, a lot of people in the league is saying that the Dayton Woods versus the Pacific Northwest Basketball Club is the next big rivalry besides Dayton Woods and the Lake Erie Monsters. How do you see this rivalry heating up? It's heating up as late. You guys are down 2 games. Do you think this is a heated rivalry more than the Dayton Woods versus the Lake Erie Monsters? Is that why you brought out the ball and Fabry effect this game?
No, I clearly said why I brought out the ball and Fabry effect this game, Eddie. I don't know if you was listening to me, but no, this game is not the next big rivalry in the AAU WorldTour League. Nothing will ever compare to the Dayton Wolves versus the Lake Erie Monsters, the 2016 National Championship game. This ball and Fabry effect, as everyone knows, was created on Mother's Day 2016 against the Lake Erie Monsters. It was just so happened that we just lost to the Lake Erie Monsters in the national championship. Nothing will ever compare to that. This regular season rivalry between us is nothing. Jacory is really not that good of a basketball player. I mean, the only thing he has over me is his height, is his reach. That's it. I'm tired of everybody saying that Jacory shuts me down and Jacory does this and Jacory does that. Jacory doesn't do anything. Jacory had a team that helped him out, and sure, yeah, he put his points on the board, and he led his team to a victory. But the last 2 games was just practice for us. We find what we need to work on, and when we execute the next game, I just so happen to figure out that it was my call, and for the last game at the Jungle, it was my call to continue what we was doing because I figured that I could guard Jacory. If I shut some of his size down, I can possibly shut down Jacory. But his shot, his pull-up game over me is just ridiculous. 6'7", all you had to do was just walk across half court, pull up at the 3-point line, and you dropped it in. That's what Jacory does. But at the same time, Jacory knows that he has to watch out for me. Jacory has his skills. I have my skills. Jacory is not that good of a basketball player due to the simple fact that everyone keeps talking about his height, especially you, Eddie. Everyone keeps talking about Jacory's height. Just talk about a 5'10" point guard leading his team from a 20-point deficit, and just to lose by 2. We would have had the last game, but it was just a mistake by our center, our second string center, KB. It was just a mistake from him, but we learned from those mistakes. This game between us and Pacific Northwest will never compare to the Lake Erie Monsters game because Cameron Caden took 2 things away from me that I specifically needed, that I specifically worked hard for, and that was the national championship, and that was what is the word I'm looking for? And that is respect on my ball and Fabry effect. Those 2 things will never, ever, ever never escape my mind due to the simple fact that Cameron Caden disrespected not only my ball of Fabry effect, not only me, not only Bree, not only her family. Do you want me to keep going, Eddie? Because he disrespected a lot of things. Jacory Weathers is not in that class. He's not in that weight class with me. And tonight, I have a special weapon that I want to put on Jacory Weathers just to the simple fact is I want to see how he does against somebody his own size.
So let me get this straight. Let me get this right, because what I'm hearing is tonight Chance Miller will not guard Jacory Weathers in the point guard position. Is that what you're telling us right now, C. Miller?
That's exactly what I'm telling you right now. I really want to see not only me but Eddie. My boy Eddie from Louisville, Kentucky. We want to see how he does against somebody his own size. Not specifically that some of my guys are 6'7", but they round off 6'2", 6'3". So it's way better than a 5'10" point guard trying to guard a 6'7" point guard. I'd rather have somebody up at the top who also has a shot. Just as myself, Manny Reeves, and Damo And Mike, I want to see how he does against somebody his own size. He can do whatever he wants against me. You know what I'm saying? He can continue saying that he shut me down and he did this and he did that. But the last game I had a double-double, 15 points, 16 assists. I want to see how he does with somebody his own size, because those 20-plus point games will not happen. And tonight, we'll be able to see, so all his trash talking that he's doing, it will come out. Me and Eddie, we thought about this. I asked him personally, what can I possibly do to stop Ja'Cory? And, we came up with the conclusion of, possibly putting somebody else on him. So we're going to test that out today. So if Ja'Cory's listening, then I hope he's prepared, because tonight's going to be one hell of a night for him and his scoring, because he will not be doing everything that he's done against me. He will not do that against Chris Johnson or DW or whoever's guarding him tonight.
And real quick, Miller, I know you got to get back down to your team to practice, so we're going to keep this short and sweet. But real quick, you guys, you and Eddie, usually do the Biggie Challenge for a week, consisting of whatever team you guys play. You guys didn't have a Biggie Challenge last game against PNW, and I've overheard that Eddie himself, the one that created the Biggie Challenge, kind of blamed that on himself, just because of the fact he didn't have a challenge for that week. But now he has another opportunity. The third game, he put a challenge out, but it's just not about your scoring. It's not about how you play individually. It's about the team as a whole. The stats for this game, I'm going to go over the stats real quick. This is the second time that everyone in the league has heard about this, besides if they read the article for this week's game of the month. But I want to go over the stats for this game, and I want to really ask you, I really want your opinion on how you think you can control your team. Not control your team, C. Miller, but lead your team. 70% shooting from the field as a whole is a very, very hard thing to do. When your team shoots at a 50% or below a 50% each game, you guys have to take so many good shots, not a lot of room for mistakes. If you guys want to beat this Biggie Challenge tonight, but you guys are supposed to be shooting 70% as a whole from the field, as well as try to hold PNW under 40% field goal shooting. You guys have to score 85 points in total, 25 rebounds, as well as 20 assists as a team. You guys also have to shoot 100% from the free throw line, as well as 7 or less turnovers as a team. Quote unquote, in parentheses, Eddie also gave a shout out to Chris Johnson and DW. He says that means that Chris Johnson and Dwight Winston needs to tighten up. What are your comments on this huge team challenge coming into this game against PNW?
I say that this team challenge is going to define our team as a whole against the PNW club, against Ja'Cory Weathers and PNW. This challenge is going to define our team to see how well we play as a whole. Now, the last few games has just been strictly about myself, C. Rizzo Rain, but for going against a team that we've lost to twice already in one season, it's just not about me. That's what Eddie told me. It's not about me. It's about the whole. It's about the team. It's about you getting your team into this game, because you cannot do it alone, which he's absolutely right. This challenge, or these challenges, were created to help me develop as a basketball player as a whole and finally win our first national championship. But not only do I need the help during my games, but the rest of the team needs something to focus on and a target to hit before the end of the buzzer, and that's exactly what this Biggie Challenge does. We're 9-3 so far this season, and it's all thanks to the Biggie Challenge. Now, I know some people, such as Eddie right here, doesn't like the Biggie Challenge, doesn't give the Biggie Challenge any props. I mean, you think it's a crutch to just that we just lay on? I mean, that we just lean on, but it's not. We wouldn't be number 3 in the league unless it was for the Biggie Challenge, and that's just my professional opinion on this.
I totally agree with you, Chance, but at the same time, I feel like this Biggie Challenge is a distraction from what you really need to get done. You're a phenomenal basketball player. You have your mistakes, and this Biggie Challenge is just another obstacle in your way from you seeing what your team goal really is, and that's winning the national championship. Your team has always done a good job in the regular season, besides last season when y'all started off 0-4, but you guys came out later during the season. Now, I'm not saying that the Biggie Challenge is straight corrupt, but I'm saying that as a basketball player, you don't need challenges every week to define your gameplay. You don't need that. And this right here, this Biggie Challenge is just a barrier in your way from seeing what your team is capable of. I feel, though, that instead of putting someone else on Ja'Cory Weathers, I think you need to put yourself on Ja'Cory Weathers and defend him, just for the simple fact so you can see. Deep down, I want to see if you can really defend Ja'Cory Weathers. Regardless of his 6'7" reach over you, I really want to see if you can go toe-to-toe with Ja'Cory Weathers for Game 3. Like, try to tie this series up before Game 4 when you're back in the jungle. Because right now, this Biggie Challenge is a distraction to you, and I feel like it's a distraction to the team, and I feel like you guys are going to lose this game if you guys try and do and complete all of these tasks on this Biggie Challenge.
Come on, Eddie, really? Like, really think about this before you actually say that. Like, this Biggie Challenge has helped C. Miller and the Dayton Wolves so far this season. They're 9-3, number 3 in the league. The only team that they have lost to and has not beat yet is PNW. And tonight they will beat PNW. I don't see what your problem is with this Biggie Challenge. I don't know if you think that C. Miller and the Dayton Wolves are getting an extra push just because this Biggie Challenge is set for the Dayton Wolves and C. Miller, or is it just because you never had a Biggie Challenge and you was never in this caliber of a stage that C. Miller and the Dayton Wolves are in right now early in the season?
That has nothing to do with anything, actually. I don't despise the Biggie Challenge. I feel like it's just a distraction from everybody in the league, especially Chance Miller and the Dayton Wolves. This Biggie Challenge is just a waste of time, and I feel like the Dayton Wolves and C. Miller should just be focusing on the national championship game. I understand they have to take it one game at a time, but one game at a time. The Dayton Wolves, I mean, Chance Miller, no disrespect, but you guys have not played nobody really in the caliber. You guys played people not even in the top 10 besides PNW. This is the first game that y'all played somebody in the top 10 against PNW. And the simple fact is that, you know, out of nowhere, the Biggie Challenge is set for a team challenge against PNW. Like, it's not going to work. You guys are 0-2 in this series so far this season, and I feel like you guys will go down 0-3. If you guys don't find a solution for this game tonight, then you guys are going to lose this series against PNW in the regular season, and you guys is going to probably face PNW in WorldTour Nationals. The first round, second round, third round, you guys are going to fall to PNW. The PNW versus the Dayton Wolves basketball series is key for this season so far.
Okay, so I suppose that you still haven't let him hear what Eddie had to say in response to all the negativity surrounding his Biggie Challenge, right?
You're absolutely right. I was waiting on you, so anytime you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll the clip. This is Eddie Grover from Louisville, Kentucky, the creator of the Biggie Challenge, and he has something to say to you, Eddie Turner, about everything you've said the last past few podcasts about the Biggie Challenge. Well, he finally took the time out of his day to actually respond, and we have this clip right now. So, Maya, could you roll the clip whenever you're ready?
Yo, Eddie, this is for you. We may share the same name, but we do not share the same opinion about basketball. These challenges is not there for him to beat them. I know they're a little bit far-fetched and whatnot. These challenges are simply to make him the MVP of the AAU. From what I understand, last year, he was scoring, but he wasn't doing it at a 45%. He was passing the ball, but he wasn't leading the league in assists. He was grabbing 2 or 3 rebounds instead of 4 or 5. So before you sit here and want to criticize me and my challenge, what you need to do is learn how to get through a whole broadcast without fucking up somebody's stats. That's what you need to do. And if you wanna ask me any questions, I'm not that hard to get a hold of. You can ask Maya, she'll ask Chance, we can exchange some numbers, and we can get it popping from her.
CK, this is the reason why AAU is no longer a public organization. It was switched from public to private just because of the fact ghetto people wants to always try to interfere in something that has that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That is all the time we have for this first ever episode of Let's Talk AAU WorldTour. Sorry, Eddie, but if you want a response, you have to wait till the pregame tip-off show, which takes effect tonight, live right here on AAU WorldTour Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, we said that this tip-off show was going to begin at 9 p.m. For the Dayton Wolves and the Pacific Northwest game to tip off at 10. However, ladies and gentlemen, late breaking, the pregame tip-off show will start exclusively right here on AAU WorldTour Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Daylight Time. So be sure to tune in right here live on AAU WorldTour Radio at 8 p.m. for everything, all the live coverage you need heading into this game of the month, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you and talk to you in a few. Enjoy the rest of your day, because tonight the Dayton Wolves, the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves, take on the number 8 seeded Pacific Northwest, a battle which I cannot wait after everything that's just happened leading up to this game, especially the interview between C. Miller and Jacory Brothers. I cannot wait to see this game that takes effect live in the Verizon Center, Chocolate City, Washington, D.C. At 10 p.m.